Hey everybody, this is Shane with Crystal Clear 101. I have another toy review today. I actually have two anime figures I'm going to be reviewing this time. And both of these are from an anime, are from a series that actually got me into watching anime for the most part. This is from the series that got me into actually being an otaku for the most part. But the figures are Katsumi Liqueur and Kiddy Phenil. They're both from a series called Silent Möbius. Now, Silent Möbius, I think there's a grand total of 3 movies. I'm not too horribly sure how many volumes there are for the manga. And there's a TV series which has 26 episodes overall. And from what I can tell you about these two figures, both of these are more accurate to their manga counterparts rather than the anime. But both of these figures were released by Toy-Com, and I believe the sculpts were done by Studio Tron. I believe that's the name on both of those. I could be mistaken, but the reason I say these are more like the manga counterparts, first off, let me show with Katsumi Liqueur. First off, I know in the first movie and in the TV series, her hair is free-flowing. Matter of fact, it comes down about here. Whereas in the manga, her hair is actually kept all the way up here. She really doesn't let her hair flow whatsoever in the manga. But first off, as far as the articulation for these two, these are intended as display figures. As on Katsumi, her only points of articulation are her right wrist, and her head's got a little bit of left to right movement. Whereas on the Kiddy, her arm swivels at the base, swivels left and right, and then she's got swivel in her right hand. That is it. Now, both of these are actually very nice little figures. These are the only figures I know of for the Silent Möbius series in general. But I mean, both of these are really, really nice. Now go ahead and show off the boots. But both of these figures do not have peg holes on the bottom of their boots. They each came with one weapon. Now, standard for both of them is a pistol that is not detachable. Matter of fact, this is just one solid piece. Now, with Katsumi's weapon, it is this very long sword, and her sword's name is Grospliner. Now, just to give an idea with this sword, I know in the anime series, this was her primary weapon. Her sword was able to talk to her, was able to not just about what to do in combat, but also talk about like her father, stuff like that. But in the anime series, she had regular conversations with her sword throughout the series. It's also able to change its overall size. It's actually able to become a rather compact weapon, but with this figure, it's only in its combat form, and also this sword is also 2 pieces. Let's see, I think it's from like right here back is 1 piece, and from right here forward is the 2nd piece. But it is nice to actually see not just Katsumi, but also Grospliner in toy form. But overall, Katsumi is a nice figure. Now, as for Kiddy, Kiddy is also another one of the fairly well-known characters from Silent Möbius, and her signature weapon, which is in her hand, is called the Graviton. Basically, it's a very powerful pistol that produces a whatever target it hits creates a localized barrier on the target. Basically, kind of immobilizes it from doing anything. But as for let me go ahead and just remove that to show a 360 of the figure itself. Now, the fascinating thing about Kiddy is that she is half cyborg. I'm not going to get into the whole specifics of why she is half cyborg, other than she was attacked by one, and that's the only way she's able to survive. But, do I have any cons, really, about these figures? Honestly, not too terribly many, since these are intended as display pieces. However, with Kitty, I do have one small one. It's the way that her legs are done, especially on mine. She really cannot stand. Matter of fact, she just topples over. The only way that Kitty is going to be able to stand, really, is unless you have her propped up against something. But other than that, her gun doesn't want to stay in her hand too well. I mean, as long as the hand stays perfectly still, I mean, it'll stay in her hand. But other than that, the gun just has a very loose fit in her hand. That's my only real complaint about. That's my only complaint about Kitty. As for Katsumi, she's able to stand with relative ease. Only reason I don't have Katsumi's not standing too well is I'm actually using cloth. I'm not using like a flat surface. There we go. But Katsumi can actually stand. Kitty can't. Even if she's holding her sword, it doesn't affect her balance whatsoever. But Katsumi, I really have no issues with. Kitty, my only complaints with her is she has no balance, and her gun doesn't want to stay in her hand. That's it. But if you haven't seen Silent Möbius, it's one of those I would advise seeing. It's really what got me into watching anime in general. Now, if you like anime, if you like an otaku, these are actually these are actually decent figures to add to any collection. And from what I've been seeing, you should find these relatively inexpensively. But I know there's some people who've never even heard of Silent Möbius, but I will say it is an awesome show. I would advise watching it. And once you watch it, you may not have the same reaction to it that I did, but it's a show that's worth checking out. But the figures themselves are actually really, really nice. I wouldn't skip out on Whatsoever. But this is my review on the Silent Möbius Katsumi Liqueur and Kitty Phenil by Toycom Studio Tron. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe.